Welcome back to Glow Up or Get Out. I am one half of the host, Sam.
And I'm the other half, Mel. I realized I said Melissa last week, or the week before, and I was like, that's so awkward.
You're like, who? Who's Melissa?
Call me Mel.
Yeah.
Melissa's too formal. Yeah.
Anyways, so based on the title, we're talking about drugs today. Could be unfortunate for you, but we're not on drugs.
No.
This episode will not be us being on drugs.
The only drug in our system right now is coffee. Caffeine. Which is a drug.
It's a drug. I'm waiting for the day where they're like, you know what, maybe we should take this off the market. Like, it's a bit much.
It's addictive as hell. Get started, though. We got a couch.
Oh.
We're back on the couch.
Yep, we really thought chairs were for us, and I'm not against that idea still.
No.
It's just really hard to find what we were looking for. And, like, not that we were trying to, like, rush and, like, get everything together, but, like, we didn't want to wait a year to find the perfect chairs.
Yeah.
And if that happens, like, we find the perfect chairs in a year, we could just sell this couch and put in the perfect chairs.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our interim, if you're watching, if you're listening, let me explain the couch. It's like it's a velour couch. It's very modern looking, but kind of looks like a 70s couch at the same time.
The color,
of the velour
especially.
And the color. Mm-hmm. The color's kind of like a brassy brown color.
Mm-hmm.
Gold vibes, but it looks good in here for now.
Yeah, we like it. We're enjoying it. And that's that.
Yeah.
That's all we gotta say about that. I thought you were gonna say, before we get started, we have a disclaimer, but...
Oh, that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, disclaimer here. This obviously is about drugs, but we are not condoning you do anything. It's more like speaking on experience and
the
maybe
topic
just...
itself.
Yeah, it's just like a little chit-chat about drugs. I don't know.
Yeah, like, I think it's super taboo. Like, Mom, if you're listening, we've probably never had a conversation about drugs, really. Like, weed, sure. But, like, we've never really been like, they exist, and it's mostly like, they're bad, don't do drugs.
Totally.
Like, that's the basis that everyone in society is on. Which I think is fine.
There's this slight
stigma,
and there's like... We'll talk about it, basically, but our disclaimer is that we are not condoning it. Don't fucking take advice of what to take or what to put in your bodies from two silly gals on this couch.
The internet.
I would say not even like do your own research, but do your own research and talk to people that know more about it, because...
Your doctor, especially if you maybe have a condition of sorts. Oh, bless you. I thought you were praising Jesus over there. Talk to your doctor, talk to friends, talk to yourself, decide if it's something you want to do, if it's society telling you should. Yeah. It's not something to be taken lightly, is all we're saying.
Anyway, the disclaimer is just, don't listen to us. Listen to this podcast, take it with a grain of salt, move on. If you can relate, laugh a little bit, whatever it is.
But it's like supposed to be lighthearted.
Right, on a serious note, though, like, again, don't condone any of that shit. Teach their own, basically.
And listen to the episode, because we're not talking about, like, heroin out here, okay?
Just these light girlies over here.
We're just your average girls, okay? We're basic. Let's go. Let's get into it. So, drugs. Some people love them, some people hate them. I think we could start with the society thing. Like the taboo-ness of the conversation overall, right?
Yeah.
Red Ribbon Week at school. Let's start
there.
That
was recently in September.
What?
Or September.
Oh, like they just had it.
They just had it. Actually, it was in October. In a lot of the schools around my neighborhood.
It's just funny thinking about it.
It's so funny.
Like, I promise to never do drugs in my whole life.
You fucking sign pledges that you're like, I'm gonna be drug free, and it's like...
And there's some kids who break that already broke it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It was a very fear-based way of teaching kids about drugs, which, I guess is the way to go when you're a kid, you know? Not saying we shouldn't be scared of bad things. That's like, don't be scared of strangers.
I think I agree. Yeah. I mean, not necessarily fear-based, but maybe giving, like, full facts of information.
Like the before and afters?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, that was really a hard-hitting piece of information when I saw the before and afters of like,
because we're women, we're like, hello.
Yeah, like seeing these women with like either like no teeth now or like disgustingly
sad
affected skin and teeth and just like looking completely old for their age, which I feel like sometimes these like before and afters were really like exaggerated.
Dramatized.
Yeah.
Added some stuff to it.
Even then, I feel like, I don't know, just speaking on like how addictive things are. But a kid wouldn't really understand that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there was anything bad about it. I think it's just funny looking back as an adult because obviously you know more and you understand more.
Yeah.
So you're just like, not me just like not knowing what was going on and pledging to never do drugs.
Girl, I guess I took that pledge real serious because I didn't do drugs till like literally the end of high school.
See, it worked. It worked.
And I used to be so upset at my friends for smoking weed.
Okay, look, I wasn't like, I don't remember, maybe I was
I wouldn't
upset.
be like, don't fucking talk to me, but I'd be like, why are you guys doing that?
Like, you guys are dumb.
Like, you're killing your brain cells, which half true.
You're like still not wrong. Well, I guess so it works. To an extent. There's a lot of factors that go into drugs, right? You know? Yeah. Why you end up doing them, at the age you do them, surroundings, environment, circumstance. There's a lot.
I think the one thing that I really appreciated from like Red Ribbon Week or just like being like against drugs when you're a child is like really focusing in on the like pressure of things, like peer pressure of things.
Right.
Because I feel like that is really real, and I feel like that's a lot of why people experiment in the first place.
Peer pressure.
And peer pressure. The whole fear base, I think that I have a really like interesting like thought about it. Like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, just because like the way that parents go about like drug intake in general, like very soft drugs. I feel like weed is pretty minor, you know, but
then they're like, it's a gateway drug.
Right.
Once you do one,
which is half true, but also I feel like making it such a big deal and a scary thought almost like initiates the kids to want to do it more because it's like rebellious.
Also becomes a secret.
It becomes a secret, and that's so awesome to have against your parents when you're like a child or a kid or a fucking teenager.
Yeah.
So I've always thought about like the way that I would probably like deal with it with a child or with like my kid.
I guess from a parent
standpoint. I mean, I totally understand why people do it. But I feel like I would come to my kid as like, if you're going to try something, tell me that you're going to try it so that I know you're high and that I know how to take care of you. And also like,
you're safe.
You're safe. You're going to be at home or like whatever. I know where you are. Exactly. Because I think that is like more of what the fear of a parent with their kid doing drugs is like, what's going to happen to them when they're high versus like they did the drug. You know what I mean?
Or the whole gateway thing, because I feel like our generation of parents, it's very much like every drug is bad. And once you start doing one, you go to the extreme, which for sure that happens to some people. But it's just not the case when you are informed and educated and you're in the right circumstances. And if you're in the right circumstances, if you're a parent who's concerned about those things, I'm sure that your kid has great circumstances. I'm like, to do drugs.
Something that I feel like that like resonated right now was like the fact that like the gateway thing. I feel like, yes, but I also feel like there's like a nature versus nurture here where like some people do develop like an addiction, but that's addiction is also like hereditary, you know? So it's like,
well, if the parents know they have had
an
addiction, I would be way more scared to.
But I feel like that's an important
conversation,
and like being like, if you want to try something, here are the facts. Like,
here's my experience.
Here's the family's experience with drugs. Like, I just want to, like, give you the facts of what things can happen.
An informed decision.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, also, like, you can't tell this to, like, a fucking 6-year-old. But
you're like, oh, you want to try Advil, babe? Let me tell you
what happens with Advil. Yeah, I think there's, like, a lot of underlaying layers of, like, what can happen with drugs. We're going to take the very lighthearted approach.
Yes.
We're not telling anybody to experiment either or whatever, but
it's a scary topic for sure. Yeah. I don't blame parents. I don't blame my parents. I don't blame the schools. It's just something that exists, and we're all as a society trying to figure out what's the best way to live with these things. It's like, imagine we had, what's it called in Limitless? Limitless? Is that what it's called? The drug with Bradley Cooper. He takes one pill and you have like 90% of your brain power.
I
forgot what that's called. But like imagine we had that.
That reminds me of a book I read, which I want to read it again. It's called Chill Pill. Have you ever read it?
No.
I forget who the author is, but it's a book about like this pill that you can take, and it's basically like a computer system that like hacks your brain to like help you through any like thought that is like making you insecure or like whatever. And so this guy like takes a pill that
short term?
I think so. I think
you gotta read it again.
I don't remember. I remember he like took it out somehow.
Oh,
not to ruin the story. I think I just did. But anyway.
Red Ribbon Week was cool.
It was cool.
It was cool. I'm not mad at it.
It was a vibe. You fucking walk around your neighborhood.
You walked around your neighborhood?
You didn't do that?
No.
We would literally...
What'd you do?
We would march around our neighborhood and say no to drugs! Say no to drugs! Over and over again. And our parents would come out of their houses if they were like home for the day or whatever.
Wow.
And they'd wave at us like, what's up?
That's special.
Fast forward to 6, like maybe 7 years later, I was just like smoking
in your bedroom. So yeah, so it starts kind of there. And then probably like middle school's peer pressure starts happening.
Oh, totally.
But let's just skip ahead because we didn't.
Oh my god, no, fucking people at my middle school were like taking E. They were taking pills.
Oh!
Like ecstasy. I remember being like, that's crazy. I was like, I thought weed was bad.
You were like, we said no to drugs last year. Do you guys not remember?
I remember.
5th grade! It wasn't that long ago.
Some of your friends started doing it in middle school.
Yeah.
Fast forward to high school. It becomes even like...
It's when it really cracks down.
Really fucking crank it up. I remember I was so like against drugs, right? But like I went to my first party and I was like, I'll have a drink.
Yes.
I was like, no drugs, but alcohol, that is me.
It's different.
I had my first like cactus cooler bomb.
Ooh, that sounds really good. Cactus Cooler was my favorite.
Delish. That's a great soda.
What was the bomb? Like tequila? What's
it? It was a little bit of Cactus Cooler. You put a little bit of Red Bull in it. And then I think it was like a shot of tequila or something.
That sounds terrible for you.
It was good though. It was a good way to drink.
Red Bull Cactus Cooler. That's like somebody older in high school made that for
Definitely.
You.
I was at a junior party or something.
I don't think my juniors knew how to do that.
That's when I also discovered beer pong and how much I love it.
Beer pong is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Anyway.
So not drinking. Drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah. Also NOS.
Oh my god. Ew, but yes.
Like, I think we need to have a nod to NOS right now. Mm-hmm. That one, I think, really, from what I personally know and have experienced, that one really is just not worth it. Like,
number one, it lasts like 15 seconds. Number two, you're literally hearing your brain cells pop. From what I hear.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
One of my friends was selling it, like... There was a hustle there.
It was a hustle. Somebody would bring their little tank in.
Give me the balloon.
That is just so funny. Yeah. What a fucking weird experience.
The video of that girl when they're in the car and she's like, pass me the balloon.
Oh yeah, she's like, pass me the balloon. She's so high, dude. People like fucking faint. I had a friend who fainted.
You literally just feel... No, I'm not even gonna explain it. Bad. You feel
just
bad.
Don't do that one.
Yeah.
At all.
If you do it, maybe think about stopping. Because I just don't know if it's worth it.
No.
Anyways, so there's that going on in high school too.
I think we both had like very similar experiences where we didn't really start doing things until like
senior
year or even after high school.
Drinking on the other hand is different, but girl. Drugs? It was senior year.
Yeah.
I might have like pretended to take a hit of somebody's blunt and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So like that might have happened somewhere in high school, but I did not get high.
The first time I smoked weed was like in high school. I think I was like a sophomore. I was in color guard to like the marching band kids. Like they were fucking stoners. Anyway.
One time at band camp.
We were in the car with my friend's like older sister and her best friend. And she's like, do you guys want to smoke? And we're all just sitting in the back like, I would think I was like the only one who hadn't done it at that point, but like my friends had.
They were like, yeah. And you were
like, I was like, okay. Like, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm gonna smoke weed for the first time.
Did you feel good about the decision? No.
I think I did. I think I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I'm open to it. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
And I think at this point, because I've been to like parties and stuff, I was like...
You're like, everybody's doing it.
Yeah. But I didn't feel shit. And I remember they're like, how do you feel? And I was like, yeah, I feel cool. Like, I feel good.
I feel cool.
I think I literally said, I feel cool.
They're like, she's not high.
She's not high. Ugh. I hear that's a very real experience, though. Like, the first time you smoke weed, you don't feel anything.
Because I feel like you probably just, like, inhale and then breathe it out.
Yeah.
Like,
let the smoke, like, a lot.
Yeah. So weed is probably, like, the next biggest, or equally as big as Nas. Love that for Nas. You grow up and some people decide to keep smoking it and some people stop.
I also think that, like, as we grow up, we realize that a lot of, like, these drugs are, I don't want to sound like a woo-woo bitch, but I feel like they're seen as, like, medicine, or, like, they have been around for such a long time that it's, like, not, you realize it's not criminal. It's more like, oh, it's literally just, like, ancestral stuff that was, like, almost, like, played with, or, like, you know, like, people used it as a recreational thing, just like alcohol. Mm-hmm. And it's, like, when you realize that it's at the same level of, like, alcohol, you're like, well, why am I okay with drinking, but not with someone doing a little weed, you know, after work, but you can have a glass of wine? Like,
well, that's the taboo thing, right? Like, there's people just don't understand what it does, or they just don't get the point of it, which, like, some people feel that way about alcohol too, you know, like, they're just like,
that's what I'm saying, it's at the same level. Like, if you see alcohol as, like, a bad thing, then drugs, like, are also a bad thing, because, like, they're both recreational ways of, like,
loosening up,
escapism, or, like, loosening up, or, like, relaxing, which
just, like, also, if we're gonna say, like, then you could say, like, melatonin or CBD. They're a little bit different, right?
A little bit different, yeah.
But
not, like, psychoactive per se.
But if you're like, you just don't need other things to relax. Like, you don't need to add stuff.
Girl.
It's like, girl, you have a piece of cake to relax sometimes, don't you? It's different, but do you know what? Like, we're just,
some people need some help sometimes.
We're just saying, like, just don't be a hater, okay?
Stop hating.
I want a glass of wine every night. So what?
So what?
So, very true. I think people forget that it's literally an herb from the earth.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, not everything. Not all the drugs.
Not all the drugs. But I think that, like, a huge conversation in the, like, legalization of drugs and stuff is, like, if we think about it, a lot of, like, prescription medications are drugs, and they are prescribed drugs. Mm-hmm. It's in the same tone, you know, and a lot of people are a lot more open to taking a pill that will instantly take your headache away, or, like, take the back pain away. But the thought of, like, smoking an herb that will, like, target the same muscles is, like, almost more taboo when it's like, we're all just, like, doing the same thing in a different form, you know, and I feel like
same results, different avenue.
But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that thought.
Yeah, I just think there's just, like, a lot to be said about the origin of some natural drugs, and I mean, there's a whole nother topic on decriminalization of drugs, mm-hmm. and what's happening with that whole situation.
And the fucking stupid-ass war on drugs and how that got us here, but
yeah, so I guess moving on from weed for now. I would say after weed, it was, like, ecstasy and cocaine. Those were, like, okay.
Damn, you moved.
You're in college. No, I didn't do those.
No, I'm saying, like, in seeing them, like, I feel like...
Oh, what did you see next? I'm just talking exposure.
Well, you know what? I think the same. Well, I had seen ecstasy in middle school. So, I remember my friend had, like, pills in her room, but she never took them. She just bought them. She was like, I have something, and, you know. It was just, like, for the status thing. Man. Anyway.
It moved on quickly after high school.
Yeah, it just moved really fast. I think everything is, like, seen at disposal now.
I guess let's just open the arms to everything after weed. It's just everything now is on the table. Like, you're going to college parties. It's like, you know, like, you go to middle school and then you go to high school and it's like all these new people have new experiences and new things to bring to the table. It's like you go to college and it's like, here's the rest of the world.
The rest of the world, girl.
Yeah.
I think I, like, really freaked out the first time I saw somebody do cocaine. I was like, oh, it really is just like this, huh?
Oh, so y'all just be doing it like in the movies.
Like, y'all just be lining it up. Okay. Yeah. I think that was the most uncomfortable experience. I think, like, seeing somebody do a line.
I think someone offering me like loudly across a room. If I wanted some, I was like, oh,
you're like, I don't get. Someone's calling me.
Because like I also didn't want to be like, I don't do that. Because like that's fucked up. I was just like, I'm good.
I don't do that stupid shit.
I don't fuck with that. That fucks your body up. Like imagine people,
dude.
Everyone in the room is all coked out. I'm like,
that shit's nuts though. The minute I knew I was no longer a kid was when, oh my god, I can't say this, was when my friend asked me for cocaine at my 21st birthday.
Asked you for some, or asked you, like, if you wanted some?
No, if I had some. Like, me and my friends had some.
Like, hey, you guys are 21 or whatever.
Really don't see me as a kid anymore. Like, I am fully in the age range to, like, now. Where you think I have cocaine.
Wow.
Anyway, I thought that was really interesting.
I think also, like, going back to Red Ribbon Week, I didn't think I would be offered things as often as I was growing up.
Yeah, I feel like we were always, like, told... like, people are going to come up to you and ask you if you want some. And what do you say? Say no to drugs.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, people just come up to you and ask about drugs?
Fuck?
And it's also, like, in the moment you think, like, it's, like, an evil person being like, do you want drugs?
Yeah, it's, like, some fucking creep, like...
in a hoodie.
And it's literally probably, like, your friend.
It's, like, literally your friend. You just have to be like, no, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
Like, God.
I think that's, like, the big lesson, too, is, like, don't do anything you're not comfortable with.
I don't know when this went, like, this episode turned into a PSA for high schoolers, but you're welcome.
Yeah, don't do anything you're not comfortable with. I think that, like... I don't want to say, like, everything in moderation, but I don't think, like, experimenting is per se bad. It's just, like, make sure you're not... Honestly, though, like, don't fuck with cocaine right now. At least right now. Like, there's so much fentanyl stuff going on that, like...
So, main point you're trying to make is know where you're getting your drugs from, and
I think it's important to know that the person who's offering it, somebody you trust, and or, like, also... I feel like currently we're all... not that people are, like, pro-drug or, like, pro-drug culture, but I think everybody is just, like, practice things safely right now. And people will be, like, open about the fact that, like, if there's something out that's being laced, don't do it. Like, just don't do it. It's not fucking worth it to lose your life over, like,
an hour or two of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. I feel like... This kind of did turn into, like, a life lessons episode. I just feel like you're saying, that it's so normalized now, at least for our generation. I don't think our parents think it's normal still. But it's normalized in our generation, and millennials, I would say, even, to experiment, and, like, you should always try something once, blah, blah, blah. But that is with saying, like, one, check in with yourself, and, like, that's something you want to do. And just because you smoke weed doesn't mean you need to smoke something else. Or whatever. And, like, don't try something just because you're like, I want to see how it feels, but I know that it's bad because X, Y, Z, like, a million reasons why it's really, really bad. Like, it's addictive or whatever. Like, just be smart. Don't fall into the trap of, like, well, all my friends are doing it, or it can't really be that bad. Like, make decisions by yourself.
Yeah.
Just because you go to a party and every time you're there someone offers you coke doesn't mean the 10th time you should say yes. If you don't want to.
If you don't want to do that. But again, just don't do coke right now.
But again, just reiterating that there is bad coke in the world at this moment.
At this moment, it's very highly possible that people will have fentanyl in their coke.
There's other drugs, too, that, like... Not all of them are bad.
Let's start by saying this, that there's, like...
Spectrum?
There's, like, not just a spectrum, but there's different types of drugs. There's uppers, downers, and psychedelics is how I categorize them in my head.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess I don't have to say, like, what each one is.
No. Nah. You can Google that.
But that's also me, like, teaching you what you would like. No, I'm just saying, like, also, if you are a person who has, like, experimented or will experiment, there's certain things that just don't feel right for you. Like, I feel like a lot of people think or feel, I don't want to say think, but a lot of people feel anxious when they smoke weed. Sometimes it's even when they smoke a certain strain of weed. You know, it's just like your body reacts to how it wants to react to, like, any type of drug. Like, a lot of people don't like doing downers because it makes them feel, like, anxious because they they kind of like lose mobility of, not mobility, that sounds so scary.
Yeah, that's...
They like just like, that. They feel very like...
Out of control.
Out of control because it's like a very like relaxing and like literally like down to the ground feeling, you know? Mm-hmm. And those people are probably like highly anxious, and it's just, I feel like sometimes I'm one of those people. Like, I cannot do downers. You know what I mean?
I'm so excited to tell stories and glowing eyes. We're telling horror
stories.
That's aggressive. Bad experience. I mean, there's
trips.
Maybe good ones, but bad experiences.
Yeah. And then there's, like, uppers where, like, you probably know what I'm talking about already, but, like, those are, like, to keep you lifted and, like, awake and, like,
yeah, I think,
you know, and some people don't like that. The people who are downers don't like the uppers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the psychedelics is a whole other beast.
I think psychedelics is maybe...
I feel like...
I want to say it's less taboo just because it's not inherently, like, bad for you.
I think it depends, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that psychedelics, though, especially specific ones, are proven to be psychoactive in a way where, like, it affects your brain not negatively, like, you're not losing brain cells. Like, you know, a lot of the drugs are told to be, like, they will forever affect your brain. Correct, they will. But I think that, like, it's proven fact in science that, like, it opens new pathways.
I mean, just watch 9 Perfect Strangers.
I think that's a bad, good but bad, like, representation.
It's a... rounded. I won't say well-rounded, but a rounded view of what it could do.
I think when you just start searching things up, you'll start to realize that a lot of practices now and a lot of like medicine practices are using psychoactive drugs to like help people with mental illnesses like depression or trauma. Yeah, like PTSD. Yeah, I can talk forever about psychedelics. I think they're really cool when done safely and, like, at the right dosages, because I feel like dosage is very important.
Yeah.
You can really freak yourself out and, like, fuck yourself up, almost.
I feel like the biggest PSA of all is just, like, what we've been saying the whole time.
Like, if you're gonna experiment safely.
Yes.
And with, like, knowledge and background information on what it offers and it can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so let's just say you have a general idea of something that someone offers you, but you want to do it. I would say in that moment, take the opportunity to be like, okay, can you tell me a little bit about what it would be like?
What it
or
feel
whatever. Because, like, if you go into it having zero idea,
yeah, I'm always like,
you're going to be scared.
What's worst case scenario?
So, if this goes sour, what can I do?
Yeah. Like, in specific, I just love how nowadays, like, a lot of doctors who are trying new things, like, are using drugs, but in a different form that only inherently, like, I feel like a lot of, like, old ways of Western medicine was about, like, almost suppressing what's really wrong at the core, and, like, some of these things help you face it in a very, like, heartwarming or, like, real way that's also, like, I don't know, it just... There's a lot of cool things, like there's, for example, I remember a long time ago when mushrooms weren't such a big thing, I remember sending my brother so many articles about how, he was in college, I was in high school, but I was like sending him so many things about how mushrooms were helping with depression, or like a lot of people were seeing that was happening, and now looking at what's going on in our world, it's so crazy to see that like that is so true, and like the core studies about that have only proven themselves even more.
Yeah, effective. And that's also to say, like, don't just go out there and trip. Like...
Yeah, I feel like that's another cool thing about it is, like, people are now creating spaces and, like, guidances.
Yeah, I was gonna say guide.
That, like, not only, like, help you go through, like, the drug experience, but, like, help you if, like, you're doing it for a purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very different to be like, let's trip.
Then, like, let's just smoke weed.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were saying, like, let's trip, I guess, let's trip for fun.
There's a different,
trip for, like,
healing, yes. Yeah. Like, I need to think, or inspiration, whatever, I don't know. But, like, I guess that's for fun, inspiration.
Yeah. Some drugs that are being looked at right now are still mushrooms, obviously. Mm-hmm. Ketamine therapy is something that is really seen or looked at. Which is funny because I feel like I would never have thought about ketamine that way.
No,
I feel like everyone talks about being like MK holes and like being like stuck. Anyway, but like again, like there's doctors who like will dosage you and talk you through things, and with therapy, it's just like now a different experience to use drugs. And I feel like it makes sense. People use drugs to like,
I mean,
escape
opiates.
Or like maybe lessen the pain of like what's going on, which sounds fucked up, but like if you can do that, but like lessening the instant like hurt factor and having someone talk to you or guide you through like your emotions, you can maybe think more clearly about, or like take yourself out of the equation and be like, oh, this is what's going on.
That's
in
what
my
happened.
Life. Anyway, there's so many things. I've also heard Molly, which I'm like,
does that?
That's interesting. So like to further the conversation about psychedelics and like healing, I guess, a lot of people have discovered like microdosing, which is like again
Drake
dosing.
does it.
A lot of people fucking do it at this point. Yes. Dosing is like, that's what I'm saying, it's like literally the key to these things.
Yes.
But microdosing is when you take really small amounts of a certain drug, a psychedelic drug for the most part, and it's almost like you don't feel the effects, really, but it's just something that, like, over time, like I said, creates new pathways in your brain and new perceptions and new, like, ways of thinking about your issues or your life. And over time, it's supposed to help heal traumas or, you know, just like any mental illnesses that are going on in your life, in your body.
Or just general, like, trapped emotions, feelings, thoughts, ideas.
It helps you move through them.
I feel like it low-key is kind of like the limitless drug. It kind of opens up more of your brain to be accessed.
Totally. Microdosing, I think, is really interesting. I feel like I've known a lot of older folk who do it at this point.
Really?
And are open to it because it's like, you're not tripping.
You don't feel like this weird out-of-body experience, per se.
Yeah. Thinking of mushrooms. For the most part, when I'm thinking about that, it's like, it's from the earth. Not to say that it's there for a reason, but I'm just like...
Or that it's, like, always good.
There's like, this theory that we evolved so quickly because Neanderthals were taking mushrooms, and it started opening their
minds.
Their minds, what did I say, neural paths? Yeah, your pathways, and it just, like, allowed for more consciousness to develop. And I feel like it's now coming back to that same cycle where we're like, now we're gonna do it.
And be even better.
Even better, because already so...
Do you think Elon Musk microdoses?
Oh, hell yeah, that motherfucker...
He fully trips.
I feel he fully trips. There's also, like, a thing called ego death, where, like, you're supposed to take a certain amount of dosage. Again, the dosage, where...
Don't do it in one day. God bless.
Where people take a large dosage where they basically have a very, like, intense experience that almost kills off, like, the thing that is hindering them from growth. Yeah. Like your ego, like what's holding you back that is, like, in this, like,
if you guys
material
don't know what the
world.
ego is, it might be really big if you don't know. Yours might be fat.
Here's a little taste of that, but yeah.
Well, we've got, like, the ego. What's the other one called? Superego? Oh my God, I'm trying to remember. It's like an iceberg. It was in my psychology class in high school. I don't know, but basically the ego is, like, it's your fucking ego. Like,
I don't know what to explain ego is. It's just, like, the way that I can think about it or explain it is, like, it's the thing that makes you really human, but, like, too human to an extent where, like, limits you to being further away from, like, your soul and, like, from who you are in this world and your purpose to, like, love people, you know, and love life. I think it creates all these, like, really dramatized, like, versions and perceptions of life and people around you and, like, yourself.
I mean, it's like Beyonce. He's got a big ego. Like, you know, like, that shit just... You don't want your ego to be big.
No. It really separates you from... really positive things that can happen.
So ego death is basically just like...
trying to get rid of it. So, like, people have really intense experiences where, I don't know, dude, like, they really they confront it and it makes them cry.
Oh my God, I wonder what my ego would look like.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know if people see the ego, but, like, I think maybe you, like, somehow, like, manifest it in some form. One of my friends said that he saw, like, I think he saw...
He had an ego death?
Yeah. He had an experience. I don't know if, like, you get rid of it forever or if, like, it's in chunks of, like, your life. I feel like your ego is just too big to get rid of it all at once. But he had an experience where he was, like, talking to, I think, God or, like, Jesus or, like, just another, like, a higher power.
Yeah.
And they were telling him about, like, all of the things that were holding him back and making him sad and making him hurt others. And he... Sorry. The higher power told him that he needed to throw up. And I'm sure that was, like, the bodily experience of, like... Because your drugs are, like, poison. You know, like, the reason that it's psychoactive, a mushroom anyway, he was doing mushrooms, it is literally poison in your body, and you're kind of, like... Yeah, trying to get rid of it. So his body was probably, like, having, like, a gut situation of, like, I need to throw up. But
his tripping thing was like,
yes, it like works with your body. But he was like, okay, and then he just started to throw up, and he like, he remembers like just crying so much while he was throwing up because he felt like literally so relieved of all of the like, negativity that he was holding. It's just crazy what people go through.
Even if you don't believe that like it's all like whatever happening. But if you believe that you throwing up is genuinely getting rid of negativity and bad, whatever, guilt, experiences, whatever, then you're going to genuinely feel better.
Yeah. Even if it's like a placebo effect,
right.
Like, it's so powerful to have a placebo. It really is, though. At the end of the day, your mind is so powerful, and if you can trick it into thinking that you're really purging...
Yeah.
Well, it's like tricking, but you're not. You're, like, teaching it something new.
Look, the brain isn't that smart, okay?
You can trick it, but your brain holds a lot of power, and... Just
want to say this. We do not condone the use of drugs
recreationally. We're going to say this, like, 30 times in the fucking episode.
You get it. We don't know what this episode was for. We just felt like it'd be cool to talk about drugs, because nobody really does, and...
I feel like it's so taboo to talk about them, but, like... Everyone has done something.
Tried something.
If you haven't, wow, you're really
What was that snorting Febreze thing?
What?
Like the aerosol. Like even like a computer cleaner you could do it with.
Oh, PCP?
Is that what it was?
Do I know that?
I don't know.
Yeah, PCP. People also do whippets. Do you know what that is? It's like, you know, has your mom ever told you not to like, out of like a whipped cream can, like an aerosol can, to like breathe that in?
She's never told me that.
Oh, it's kind of
like... She probably doesn't know.
I think it's like NOS. Like, whippets are NOS. Yeah.
So what do they do?
So you just like...
maybe we should teach them how.
Yeah.
That's hella weird. That's easy to get away with in middle school, too. Oh
yeah. Mom, can I just buy a bottle of...
Whipped cream? Whipped crema? A 3-pack?
I don't know if my kid's trying to do some shit.
So whipped cream for what? They're like, pie.
I'm like, put it right now. Put it on your pie right now. You can't take that to your
room. It's all locked and shit in the fridge with tape. Basically, just be safe. And don't do it because we said people do it. You know?
Period.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth
Make decisions for yourself. That's all we're saying. And we just try to give you a little more informed decisions here.
I don't know if that was really informative, but...
Slightly.
Might interest you to take a look at drugs in a way that's, like, more information-based versus, like...
experience-based and pressure.
I also think, like, scary things just become... a bigger issue, you know?
Because then when you do it, you feel shame.
It kind of, yeah, exactly. And it also reminds me of how, like, everyone thought that, like, celibacy is the way to teach kids not to get pregnant or get STDs.
Okay, wait. Someone just tweeted that. Like, yeah, let's have the same energy that sex education has with, like, celibacy isn't the way to go. Informed decisions is the way to go.
Exactly. That's all I'm trying to say.
So drugs, informed decisions.
Informed decisions. Create knowledge. And the fear needs to go because that just creates more issues, I think. Yeah, because then you do it and you're not safe. Yeah. So glowing hour, we're going to get into some personal experiences. What drugs have we taken? Bye.
Welcome back. If you hear our ice clinking, take a shot every time you hear it. I'm just kidding. But I apologize for the clinking. We like cold drinks. Today we're having
strawberry marg?
Strawberry marg, kind of. Chamoy rim, of course. There hasn't been a day we haven't had it in a while.
Love that chamoy rim.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Before we start, if you are our parent,
Ah.
if you are our tia, if you are our auntie, uncle, brother, sister.
Like, my brother can listen. Or my sister.
Same. If you're a parent who doesn't want to hear about our stories,
now's the time to exit.
please exit.
They're not that bad.
No judgment in this
arena of the world.
But yeah, I think I'm mostly going to put it out there.
Mel's about to lay it all out there.
Maybe I'll pick and choose which stories.
There's just too many you have to pick and choose. Okay. But yeah, so if you don't want to hear this, if you don't want to be upset for no reason because we are healthy and fine, leave. It's not worth your energy. If you want to laugh, if you want to relate, stay.
Alrighty. Do you want to go first?
Wait, first thing I just gotta say, getting into it. Mom, I hope you're on. My brother in high school, I was in high school, he was like, let's see, if I was 15, he was like 28-ish, something like that. He was like 28, late 20s. He was like, look, I used to go to him for advice a lot. He's like, look, all I'm gonna say is experiment with drugs now, not later.
Honestly, fair though.
He was like, I don't want you to be doing drugs with the whole family under your roof. I was like, fair enough. I shouldn't be experimenting with Molly on the weekends when I have a child at home.
Or do.
I mean, or do. Oh, well, not experimenting. Wait, what?
Or do them, but not with your kids around.
Oh, no.
Have them go to their...
Definitely not with children.
Their grandparents.
Present.
Pick them up.
I'm like, Mom, I need you to watch the kids. We're tripping this week.
I'm tripping this week. I need a trip.
I wonder if my brother's done that. I would love that for him. Anyways.
Hey, Eddie, let us know.
Yeah, Eddie, comment below. Actually, don't. Mom will see that. Text me.
In the group chat.
So I guess I'll go first. This is like the most notable story I have because it was probably like, I think it was definitely the first time I did, or I took an edible, had an edible.
Everyone has like a fucking edible story. I definitely won't tell mine.
Yeah, so preface, in general, I wouldn't say I'm big on weed myself, just like I personally haven't had great experiences with it. Like, discussing dosage before, I would say my dosage is like none to 2 hits. Like, honestly. So, it's good to know those things, and I know I can't do it when I'm also drinking alcohol because it's just way too much.
Oh yeah, we didn't even discuss
combining the two. Big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal,
Don't
folks.
do it, honestly.
Unless you're getting out of a situation because you drank too much. There could be benefits to that aren't, like, the pros outweigh the cons in some situations.
It's funny that you say that because I feel like my brother used to say to me that, like, he liked smoking weed because it would, like, calm him, because he's a very, like...
anxious.
Just, like, a high, like, a up there, like, when he's drunk, it's just, like, very, like, up and, like, kind of crazy. And smoking weed would help him calm down and almost, like, sober up.
Okay, yeah.
Almost like a counteraction.
See,
don't think that works for me, but...
Sometimes you just learn what your body does. Yes, that's my preface. This is me when I was 17. Yes, I was 17, just graduated high school, fresh off a breakup. I said, girly, we are going to do drugs. I'm just kidding, I didn't say that. I just said, let's hang out with all my friends, obviously all summer, because I'm going to college. So, somehow, for whatever reason, my friend moved 2 hours away. My dad happened to work in said city 2 hours away. Weirdly convenient.
Okay.
So, we hadn't seen her in, like, I don't know, a couple weeks, a month, right? Because school ended. So I was like, dude, like, my dad works there. He could just drive us all to your house. We could all hang out.
Yeah.
Our bad influence friend was like, hells yeah, I'll bring an edible. And we were like, all of us were goody two. Like, the rest of us were, like, quiet. Like,
okay.
Oh.
This is what we call
But, like, low-key, like, okay.
It's gonna be a crazy day.
Crazy. He dropped us off at, like, 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, because he's going to work. It makes sense.
Maybe not that early, but, like, 8 the latest, probably. So, we get there. I want to say her dad was leaving for work. Like, we were going to have the house to ourselves. Her family is very strong in their beliefs. I will say that. She wasn't allowed to sleep over. She wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. Like, all these things, right? So, of course, naturally, we decided to do an edible at her house for the first time.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. So, we hung out for a while. I'm like, let's go to the pool. Like, she had, like, a community pool, I guess. But there's no one there. And we're like, we'll just take it there. And it was a cookie, so it's not like anyone's, like, watching what we're doing.
Did you guys think it would hit immediately or something?
No. You know, our friend had done it before, the bad influence person. She was like, it'll take a while. Like, we definitely shouldn't take the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure he split it evenly, though. Like, amongst 4 of us.
Do you know, what was it? It was cookie?
Large cookie.
Was it the Cordova cookies?
No idea. It was clear plastic. Couldn't tell you. Girl, if I would have known better, I would have known better.
No, I think it was.
Probably.
Anyway, continue.
It was probably very high in potency. So this is the first time we're all doing it. My friend, let's call her Rachel. Rachel, the person's house that we're at. She's nervous because she can't even have a boyfriend. She probably had to beg her parents to let us come over for the day with no supervision, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that was the case. So she was nervous about it, but our bad influence friend was like, oh my god, it's gonna be fine. Don't even worry about it. Like, we'll be totally cool.
We'll be fine.
And it's probably like 11 or something. So she was kind of reassuring. It's like, it'll be fine by the time your parents get home. Like, don't worry about it.
That's true.
Yeah. So we took it and we're like, cool. So then we all got in the jacuzzi and we're all just like waiting for it to hit. And we're like, I don't feel it. Like, none of us are feeling it. And then we look at... What?
Do you think like... Because you know like when you drink
made it
alcohol?
worse?
Yeah. And you like go in a jacuzzi and it like fucking makes it bubble up more. Do you think it did something to you guys?
Probably.
Anyway, but also was your first time doing an edible?
Yeah. And secondly, I don't remember if the jacuzzi was like warm.
I just assumed. My bad.
No,
it's a jacuzzi.
if it makes a difference, I don't remember. I do remember bubbles, so I presume it went on and off time and time again. So yeah, none of us felt it, and then we look over to our other goody two-shoes friend. I'm trying not to give anybody names. Like, I'm not saying goody two-shoes in a bad way. We were all goody two-shoes except one of them. So, one of my goody two-shoes friends...
One of them was experienced, let's say.
Yeah. But, like, bad influence in the way, like, she was not educating us. She was not helpful.
Really was like, just take it.
Yeah, and we were like, okay.
Yeah.
I look at her, and she's, like, gone. Like, I'm like, I think she's feeling it.
Wait, goody two-shoes?
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, she's feeling it, I know it. Because she's not talking, she didn't even hear me say she's feeling it. And I was like, alright, cool. And then it probably hit, like, me and the other girl at the same time. I think it hit the other girl
It's
later.
so crazy that it's just like...
Yeah, it's so instant. Like, you look down and you look up and it's over.
You're like, oh, I'm in a different state of mind.
Woo!
Absolutely.
And that's what I hate. But
I think alcohol does that too, though.
That's why I know my limit with that one. I'm very well.
But I feel like almost like with buzz too, like a buzz feeling.
It depends.
You're like, you're sober and then it's like, oh, I'm buzzed.
Like, for me, buzzed, it has to be like, I know that I ate enough. I know that I've taken care of myself. If I get too drunk and I'm like, you didn't even drink water, you didn't have a meal before you drank, like, that makes me anxious. It's that part for me. Because I know those things will make me feel better.
Me right now.
Empty stomach.
I've
and
had
coffee.
1.5 cups of coffee. Anyway.
Oh my god. We're holding up our drinks if you're not
If
watching.
you're not watching, sorry.
So anyway, so we all eventually are feeling it. And we get out of the jacuzzi, and my friend Rachel and the other goody two-shoes girl go to the bathroom. Like, our friend's freaking out, and we can tell.
Oh.
Yeah, and like, I didn't know what was happening.
Like, I don't know what the fuck to do when I'm high as shit.
No idea.
I'm glad the one that's experienced was like...
And it wasn't the one that was experienced.
It wasn't.
Me and the experienced one were eating a bag of chips.
Bitch is like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm
that bitch
hungry.
was high as well.
Girl had munchies, let's just say.
And my mouth was dry as hell.
That's
I was
the worst,
telling her, like,
mouth.
what do I do? And she was like, drink water. I was like, right.
But
I don't even think we brought water either.
water tastes like shit when you are so high and you have cotton mouth.
It's like...
It tastes
dirty.
like plastic to me.
Plastic. I think it tastes like dirty,
Like there's like,
metally.
it's like a film in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Well,
It
drink
just doesn't-
drink it anyways.
Drink it anyways. Your body needs it. I know you might
or
think
like do a Pedialyte moment. I don't know.
Yeah,
So you have to drink less.
Or like a Gatorade.
Some electrolytes, something good for you.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I think the goody two-shoe friend came out and she was like, bro, she's throwing up. Like, it's bad. Like, she's freaking out. And I'm sure we didn't eat. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember eating a lot. But she's freaking out. Like, she's literally about to have a panic attack, probably.
No.
Like, I think she's literally having a panic attack because...
That hurts my soul, dude.
Well, one, it was like, I don't like how I feel. And then 2 later, it was probably like, fuck, my parents are going to come home and they're going to see me like this. Like, it was too late.
Fuck.
See? And that's why, like, also, like, as a parent, if I saw my kid was high and they didn't feel good, I'd be like, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
That's why you need to be knowledgeable.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Tip from the fucking parent to the parents. When your kid is high, do not get mad at them.
It just makes it worse.
It makes it so much worse. And
like,
maybe
be mad later.
Maybe you want to say, like, I told you so, or whatever the fuck. That's fine. Don't say it, though, when they're high.
Do it later.
Have a conversation about it later. Hold your angry thoughts. Hold your other...
And, like...
shit in.
Being able to control it, good for you. Some people can't do that. But also, you'll just realize how it's not worth it to be angry with them.
No.
Like, it's more like, you know... You can come from more of a, like, calm place and be like, you know, that really upset me that you disrespected boundaries we've set together.
Yeah.
Saying that you would not do those things, and you would tell me you were going to do those things.
You didn't.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
It's a way different conversation than when they're high and you're like, why would you do that? You know,
Also, again, I think fear never fucking works.
Yeah.
Like, scaring your kids out of, like, doing something like, I'm going to be mad at you, or, like, you're going to be in trouble.
Be disappointed.
Like, those things are...
Scarring,
truly. I think if I had my mom come to me, like, are you high? I'm so sorry.
You're not feeling well.
Like, you're not feeling well. Like, well, we can talk about this another time. Like, what can I get you right now?
Oh my god, it would make me so anxious if they said we were going to talk about it later. I'd be like, let's just talk about it now. Just talk about it now.
Maybe you would be like that for sure. Maybe just don't say that. Just be like, what do you need right now?
I love you.
It doesn't matter. I want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Let's
stick with that with the anxious kids. Anyways, so it was just worse for her because she had those pressures. And then, I don't even know how long we were at the pool, but we were like, we have to go back home. So she had a community pool. It wasn't walking distance. We drove there.
Who drove?
Rachel.
God damn it, Rachel.
The one that's freaking out. So, and then people started coming to the pool too.
She drove back?
Listen, so...
I'm just like, what is going on?
So people started coming to the pool. She got more anxious. She's like, we need to leave. People are going to tell my parents. Like, you know, I mean, you just get paranoid, right? Yeah. So
the paranoia is real.
We were trying to keep her calm, but we were probably high, so she was probably getting more frustrated with us because we were probably like, dude, it's gonna be fine. You know? Thinking back, that experience was pretty good for me.
You're like, fuck Rachel.
Like, this, aside from Rachel, kind of killed it. Okay, we did well somehow. I made, maybe because I was focused on making sure someone else was like, okay. I don't know. So we're like, look, let's just get in the car. So that way nobody's like, what are they doing? They look weird. Like, we'll just get in the car. Nobody's going to notice. She was like, okay. So, like, we grabbed our one towel and one bag of chips and got in the car. And she was like, guys, I can't drive home. I'm not going to drive home. I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Dude.
And none of us wanted to drive her car because...
You're all high.
And...
you're responsible for that shit.
And there's just, like, the parent situation. Are there cameras here? Are her parents going to, like, look? And then it's, like, this whole thing. Or is it going to be, like... You know, there's just all these theories in our heads, right? And we're like, look, it was literally, like, a 1-minute drive. Like, it wasn't super far. We could have walked and then later got in her car. But then her parents would be like, why the fuck did you leave the car?
Yeah.
So, she drives us there. She's probably pissed at this point. She's probably fucking mad at us. But I'm like, honestly, what did you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like, we all made this decision together, and it just happened to not work out well for you this time. So, I don't even remember what happened. I'm pretty sure her brother was home, but we went straight up to her bedroom and all knocked the fuck out. Like, we all just went to bed. No words. Just all laid on the floor and was like...
high as shit. Just...
like, knocked. And then... I don't know how many hours later or if we were sleeping a short time, but my dad's like, I'm here. I'm picking you up. So we all woke up and we were like, fuck. And I want to say my friend didn't wake up. Not like she did wake up. Not like she was dead.
More of the story, do an edible and die.
No. She overdosed on the cookie. No, kind of. But she just, like, didn't, like, get up and walk us out. Like, she was just like, okay, bye, guys, you know?
Yeah, she was fucking toast.
Yeah. So we all somehow made it downstairs. I got in the front seat. I don't know if my dad thought anything was up. Maybe he just played so hard out there. You guys are so cute.
I wonder if he knew.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Okay. I was like, I don't put it past Steve to be like...
some avenir.
It's fine, like...
But I would put it past... I would put it past him.
To, like, bring it up?
To bring it up later. He would have been like, so, that was weird. Like, yeah.
It was weird. I was really tired.
Super weird.
We played at the pool all day.
I'll just be like, we were really angry at each other, so we went to bed. Girls, you know. But yeah, that was, like, pretty much that story, but... I think the next day or something, she ended up, like, confiding in her older sister. And her sister was like, it's okay. Like, I had the same exact reaction, like, the first time. Like, don't worry. And she's like, I feel so much better now. And I was like, see?
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's just we were idiots.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, yeah. Yeah, that was, like, kind of my friend's bad experience, but I was there for it, so I thought
it's like also one of your first experiences, I feel.
Yeah, so it's cool.
To piggyback off of the edible train, not to say that I was experienced at this point. I don't even think I was. I feel like if I had taken an edible at this point, but maybe just, like, wasn't, like, super trusting, which, yeah, like you said, like, disclaimer, I smoke weed. Just say that. I don't think it makes me super anxious, but I have had really anxious moments when I overdo my dosage or when I take edibles at a high dosage point. I feel like I am just not a girly who processes weed or THC in like edible form well. I just don't do it well.
It's like bloodstream faster or something when
I have no
some science.
It's like your liver's like trying to do its thing and your stomach's doing its thing and it just hits
like too many organs.
It just hits differently.
Yeah.
I don't think I fuck with edibles. I feel like every time I do them I have like slight like freak out moments.
Yeah, not a fan.
Not a fan. Except that one time. We were watching Euphoria and that shit was wild. Anyway, that was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. It was
a
kind
chill.
of like, it was micro-ish, not really.
Not really. I feel like I was fucking high.
We were really high.
I was really high. We were both really high, but it was just...
That's funny.
Anyway, it was interesting.
Love a good weekday.
A good weekday Euphoria. I'm a catch up. This experience, again, do these things in safe spaces, right? I decided to do an edible at a music festival.
Oh,
I thought it was quirky, fun, having a good time.
Oh, I would never.
That fucking cookie will haunt me for the rest of my life. Anyway, so we brought in I remember my friend, literally, let's call her Brenda. I don't know.
Brenda.
Let's call her Brenda. Brenda had snuck in this cookie in her front pocket.
It's not really
her
sneaky.
Shorts. Not sneaking, but, you know, they didn't really think much about it. Then when we got inside of the music festival, I think this was like, I can't remember if it was day 1 or day 2. I think it was day 1. We were going with a friend of the person that I was staying with and her, and we were all like in a group of fucking, I was gonna say a trio, but not like a quad.
Yeah.
Anyway, a group of 4 people. We walked in.
Quadrant.
And at this specific music festival, there was like rides. It was like carnival themed, so they had rides. We were like, we should get on the ride before it gets... I think we walked around for a little bit and then we went back to the ride and we're like, let's get on the ride before it gets crazy and like before all of the shows start that we want to watch.
Okay. Right?
So we're like, oh, but we have the cookie, we should take it. Like right now is a good time, and if we like end up getting too high, later we'll like be already on the come down and like it won't be bad. You know, like we'll save.
Like be fucked for your life right now.
Yeah, if it goes bad, which said thing happened.
Yes.
So we took the cookie in line to go on the ride. We waited probably like 15 minutes.
The whole cookie? Like split it against 4
We
people?
split it in 4 people. Yeah, I think the cookie was like 200 milligrams. Stupid.
That's probably what mine was.
50 milligrams per person. I mean, if you're an avid smoker, you know your dosage. You can smoke. Your tolerance is high.
For reference, the time Mel and I got really high was we had 2 gummies that were 10
each.
5.
And they were so bad. Like their potency was just
weak.
Yeah. So that's probably why
so
we had such a
maybe
good time.
20. Maybe 20. But probably more like 10.
These ones were like 50. Also, like, yes, I did smoke at the time. I smoked a lot of, like, I smoked weed. I did not eat it. Yeah. It's so different.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we took it. We waited in line for like 15, 20 minutes. Probably 20. Got on the ride. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the fuck. But, like, movement... water, heat. I don't know what activates shit to go even faster.
Probably all of the above.
But we went on the ride. I don't even remember what kind of ride it was.
Was it a spinning one or like a roller coaster?
It was like a spinny roller coaster one. Kind of like the zipper. but not so crazy. I can't remember what it was, but I remember...
A zipper would wreck you.
I remember it wasn't like a Ferris wheel. It was like something more intense. But anyway, I got off. It's more like spinning, but like going like this. You know, like Ferris wheel plus like... That's what I'm saying, zipper, because it's like
it
both.
Also has something else.
But it wasn't so crazy where I was like spinning back and forth and shit. Anyway, I don't remember what the ride was. Got off of it. And I was like, oh shit, I feel a little funny. I was like, is anybody else feeling anything? And everyone was like, no, I'm feeling fine right now. Like, are you feeling something? And I was like, I'm feeling something, nothing crazy though. You're like trying to play it down, you know?
Inside you're dying.
I was like, I feel fucking sick. And I was like, we were like, where should we go next? And then when they said that, all of a sudden, like, it went like, woof. Like my perception just like, I'm high. Like, I'm done for. I am gone. I'm in a new dimension. Somebody help.
You just start like...
And I went, you know, like, I had just said, like, no, I'm fine, whatever. As soon as, like, I took 2 steps, I was like, honestly, guys, do you think we can go, like, sit down for a little bit? I feel, like, really nauseous.
Good for you for speaking up.
Yeah.
Not that it was going to really make anything a lot better, but...
No. But I was like, I don't feel good. So then we, like, go and sit in, like, the quarters of, like, where all of, like... the food was at, like, also, like, kind of right next to all the rides, and I was sitting there, and, like, the guy that I was seeing was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, like, I just don't feel good, like, something's happening.
God, I hate that.
And he's like, okay, well, we'll just sit here for a while, and I was like, okay, and we're all just sitting there kind of in silence.
And then you kind of feel bad, too.
Yeah,
like...
I felt guilty, also. And, like, we're just sitting there in silence, and, like, again, it's carnival themed. Put that out there. By the food, they had, like, the carnival sound of, like... Right? There's, like, just music in general that was just, like, very, like, clownish, like, very, like, carnival-y. And I can hear the ride and, like, people screaming and just, like, laughing. And I was just, like, fuck me. This is the worst thing that can happen. And I remember looking up, because I was, like, a lot of the time just looking at the grass, just, like, shaking my legs and, like,
oh my God,
being anxious. I know, I'm, like, making myself feel funny right now. And I remember looking up, and, you know, like, movies with, like, shit's, like, just, like, warped, and not, like, crazy warped, but, like, you know, like, when the cameras go, like, poof, poof.
Yes.
Like, I remember looking around like that, and I was like, I am not okay. Like, I am not
It's, like, literally
good.
when it's, like, let's say Euphoria, someone's really fucked up, and they go into the point of view,
yeah.
and it's, like...
Everyone's, like, you're just fucked.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I don't even know if it's sitting is, like, working. Like, let's just do whatever you guys want to do. Like, let's walk around. We get up. We start walking around.
Burn some
you know
calories.
What? Now I remember it. It was the first day. Anyway. We're walking around, and it's not fucking helping.
Was everyone else feeling it, like, good?
Everyone was feeling it. And then I remember asking them when we were on the ground. I was like, is everyone, like, high? Like, are you guys, like, high too? Like, am I just having a bad experience? But, like, is everybody else high? Because the one thing that I hate when I'm having a bad trip is thinking that I'm alone and feeling bad.
Yeah, it feels better when someone else is like, I also feel like shit.
Even just telling me you're feeling really high makes me comfortable. Because I'm like, okay, it's just the drug. I'm not weird. It's just like my insecurities just get heightened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone's like, yeah, like, I'm feeling it. Like, we're all good. And I can see that my friend, Brenda, is, like, lying through her teeth. That she's, like fucked up. But won't tell me. And I was like, okay, like...
You're like...
Cool, like, let's just go walk around, like, see if that helps. And we're all walking around, literally looking probably just, like, high as fuck, just walking around.
Everyone's like...
Yeah. And I remember we were trying to watch someone play, and I was like, honestly, guys, like, I really don't feel good. Do you think we can go somewhere quiet? And they were like, Mel, we're at a music festival. Like, where do you think it's going to be quiet?
Fair enough, but rude.
And I was like, I don't know. Like, there's stairs over there.
We didn't need sarcasm.
Yeah. True. And, like, the bathrooms were a certain place. And I always know where the bathroom is because I always have to pee.
Yes.
But I remember that right in front of the bathrooms was this large staircase that people sat there and, like, ate their food, had their drinks, like, chilled, right?
Let's make it ours.
I was like, can we just go sit by the stairs? Because, sure, it's not quiet, but it's much quieter.
Yeah. Away from things.
Right. So we go and sit on the stairs. It is, like, only getting heightened for me. I am freaking the fuck out.
I have so
much anxiety. Yeah, and I'm also just, like, at this point feeling so much guilt and shame that we're not, like, enjoying the festival, and I'm, like, making
so
everybody...
many layers.
Yeah, making everybody sit next to me and, like, make sure that I'm okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
And my friend's just, like, sitting there, like, trying to talk to me, even though I know she's... Brenda? She's high as shit.
In a bad way.
She's really scared, and you can tell, but, like, her, like, motherly instincts or whatever the fuck, just, like,
That's me. I'm fucked up, but like, you need help?
Yeah, so she was like, no, I'm fine. She was, like, literally lying through her teeth at me. I was like, do you feel okay? Because I was like, just say
But it would have made you feel better.
Right, and I was like, do you feel okay? And she was like, yeah, no, I'm fine.
Well, maybe she thought
okay.
It would scare you more, like, we're unsafe.
She did tell me that after, but also she was lying to herself because she felt like lying to herself would make her feel better.
Okay.
And I was like, a lot going on there. It was just like, everyone was going through their own shit. And I'm just like, girl, don't lie to me. Like, I feel awful. And meanwhile, I was, like, asking everybody, like, how they were feeling. I asked the person that I was with, and I was like, hey, do you feel good? And he was like, no, yeah, I'm having a good time. He actually was, like, thriving.
I love that for him.
I was like, damn, you have a good-ass, like, tolerance. Anyway, and then I'm, like, looking at, you know when you're high, like, everything is just, like, so, like, dramatized. Mm-hmm. It's dramatized. Like, kind of like the camera angles that I was talking about. I looked at my friend, asked her a question, looked at him, asked him the question, and then I, like, tried to look for his friend, and his friend was further down in the stairs on the phone, and he's just, like, walking in, like, circles.
You're like, I'm nervous.
And I was like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I don't think he's feeling well. And I was like, okay. And then he, like, I was like, so freaking out, so I asked the person I was with, like, hey, do you think you can look up how I can get less high? Because is there something I can eat?
And you can't even look at your phone either.
No, because that, like, freaks me the fuck out. I was like, can you look up, like, what makes me, like, less high? Like, if there's something that I can eat, or, like, just eating, will that help? And he was like, yeah, and he was, like, looking it up for me, which was really sweet. And then, like, I also believe that, like, when you're on drugs with the wrong people, it, like, only makes it worse. Does that make sense?
Like, you don't feel safe, or you don't feel...
With him, maybe I didn't feel safe, but I knew he was trying his best. I mean,
girl, you had
50. I had 50 milligrams.
That's a lot.
The only person that made me feel safe was my best friend at the time, Brenda, and, like, I could not get her to tell me that she was high also.
Like, I trust nobody here.
I trust nobody here. But then his friend comes up the stairs, and he's like, hey, guys, I gotta go. Like, I called my friend to come pick me up. I don't feel good. And he was so fucked up. It felt so bad. So, like, I was probably making it so much worse by, like, talking out loud about how much
but either way, he would
have left, yeah. But I just felt, like, so bad because we brought the cookie, and, like, he paid for his ticket and had to go home. It was just a whole thing.
Everybody makes a choice.
Anyway, long story short, we went to the bathroom, Brenda and I, and the moment I realized she was fucked up, we were in the bathroom, and I was like, hey, can you come with me? Like, whatever. We went into our own stalls, and then I had peed so fast because I thought it was, like, taking forever because I'm so high. I think I'm, like, taking hours. And I go out into the sinks. I look at my face because I'm washing my hands, and I look at my face. My eyes are bloodshot red. And that's the worst. And I also had, like, gotten ready, and I thought I looked really pretty that day. And then, like, when I looked in the mirror, I was like, I look literally dry, ugly, and I have red eyes. I'm like, I gotta go home. Like, I look so disgusting.
Like, on top of everything, I look fucking ugly.
Yeah. So I, like, reach in my bag and I put on sunglasses, and I was just like, all right, this is it then. This is how I'm gonna go for the rest of the night.
This is my evil origin story.
And I fucking realized that my friend's, like, nowhere to be found. And I call him, like, hey, oh no, and then I get a phone call from her, and I'm like, hey, where are you? And she's like, hey, can you come to my stall? And I was like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, can you just come here, though? I'm like, okay. And then I, like, hang up, I turn the corner, I'm like, can you stick your foot out? Like, Brenda, where are you? And she, like, sticks her foot out. And then I come into the stall, and she, like, I open the door, and before she didn't look like this to me, but I think, like, once I noticed how I looked, I saw her.
And you got a little sober, too. Maybe.
Right. It's, like, not sober, but, like, you were coming down, like, just a little tad.
Bit, yeah.
And I look at her in the face, and, like, I open the stall, and she just looks up at me, and, like, she looks the same like I do. Like, just bloodshot eyes, terrified in the face, makeup's, like, half gone because, like, we're probably rubbing her eyes or rubbing her face, whatever. And she just, like, dead straight looks at me and goes, am I still peeing?
I'm sorry?
And I'm like, girl, you're high. And I'm like, no, you're fine. Her pants are also on already. Like, her shorts are up.
Am I still
She's like, am I still peeing? And I was like, I felt so, like,
bad
at that point. I was like, we're too fucked up.
You said this is not
safe.
Good. It's not fun.
It's not safe. And I was like, no, you're fine. You're fine, Brenda. I almost said her name. I was like, you're fine, Brenda. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, you're fine now. Like, let's go outside. Like, maybe just go wash your hands and let's go get a lemonade and just call it, and we'll go to a show, like one of the stages, to watch a show, and if we don't feel good, we can go home. And she's like, okay, and now it turned into me taking care of her, because she's finally, like, allowed herself to tell herself that, like, I'm not okay, you know?
I hate that.
So, we go, and, like, this whole day, we're so excited to watch Anderson .Paak. We love him.
Yeah.
But right before him is Erykah Badu. And we go into the stage. She starts playing. She's like, I hope everybody feels good, whatever.
Yeah,
and she's like, if you're not, I swear to God, I think she said this. She's like, if you're not, like, let's just, like, enjoy the show, right?
She's looking right at you.
I swear to God, she fucking healed me. She allowed me to feel so much peace.
Well, her music's like a good...
Yeah, she's a bad bitch.
But just like a good,
like,
vibe,
yeah. So she just started playing, but... my friend just started to throw up right next to me. And, like, the crowd just went like this. It just, like, dispersed because she started throwing up. And I took her to the trash can. She threw up some more. And then after that...
Nobody got kicked out? Like, nobody saw?
No. After that, we both just, like, felt alleviated in some form. And we were back.
Period.
And it was fine. And it was beautiful. And we saw Anderson .Paak. It was beautiful. It was a good time. The guy who came with was
fine, too. He never got sick.
He never got sick. He was enjoying the fuck out of himself.
Well, at least he didn't, like, leave you guys or, like...
No, never.
Do anything rude.
But we just had a good time. I remember, though, like, I was like, can you drive home? Because I can't. Like, I'm toast. Like, my brain is done.
Yeah, like, I wasn't expecting all
this.
this.
So then me and my friend Brenda just fucking slept all the way home. But that was, like, one of the worst, like, edible experiences I've ever had.
Wow.
I've had many, but that's probably top one.
Basically, I was at my friend's house. And I think it was like everyone was just having a great time, either doing edibles or smoking, drinking, you know, the whole thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna feel a little bold. I'm gonna have one gummy, right?
How much
was
the
gummy? Starts probably 10, right?
Okay.
These must have been better than the ones we had.
Okay.
So I had 10, didn't feel it for like 45 minutes. And usually that's like the time where you're like, all right.
Oh no, that's fair.
Maybe you could have another one. So I was gonna have half. Somehow peer pressured into having a whole. It's always how it is. And so I take another one. Maybe 2. I don't remember.
Bitch, what?
It was down bad. So I'm like, fuck it, fine, I did. Terrible decision. Don't fucking fall into peer pressure. You know your body, okay? That's all I gotta say.
You do know your body.
So I sit down. I don't know if it hit right away. I really do hate that feeling of, like, looking up and it's like, ooh.
It's like you're just a whole new world.
Like, you almost literally hear the, whoa.
Yeah, it's sort of like, woof.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, it's here.
You went,
yeah.
And I just personally think also it wouldn't be for me to do that again with a group of people, like, more than 5.
No. I'm the same way. I feel like drugs in general just, like, don't sit well with me with, like, groups of people.
Yeah. And then, like, the paranoia sets in. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, there's all these people here. I can't just say I'm going to bed. Like, I can't just, like, say I gotta go. Like, it's gonna be weird. I literally wasn't talking the entire time. Like, everyone's having conversations, and every now and again I'd, like, hear something and I'd go...
the deep breath.
Like, a deep breath right after, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's so funny, guys. Like, would not talk, though. And I was like, everyone knows, or, like, they think I'm in a bad mood, or, like, whatever the case. And, like, after the fact, I had told people, like, yeah, I was really freaking high, and I did not feel good. And they were like, makes sense, you weren't talking, I thought you were mad. And I was like, no. So my assumptions were right.
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm mad.
But I was like, but I was just too high, so you were wrong. So, yeah, and, like, every time I would, like, look at my phone or, like, someone next to me, I would, like, not see things, like, not, like, hallucinate. Not, like, hallucinate, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, hyper-focus and, like, I don't know, like, my eyes were just, like, doing weird stuff. And I was like, what just happened? Like, what did I see? Wait, show me that again. Like, what's going on? And then, but I also probably couldn't talk. So it was probably very, like, what?
You were just, like, short and snappy, and, like, people thought you... Yeah.
I was probably just coming off real bitchy. And, like, people were just, like, talking, and I'd have to, like, like, just in my head the whole time thinking, like, when will this fucking be over? Like, when will people start leaving? Like, the first person that left, I was like, thank you so much. Thank you really do. Thank you so much. Leave. Everybody, just get out. I don't want to be here. And so, yeah, I'm just, like, really, like... Like back and forthing it, but then the more I move, like the worse my head feels, the more nauseous I feel.
So I am staying on this couch.
Yeah, I literally was like, there's no chance you can make it to the door. No chance you can make it to a door to like lay down, exit, move, nothing. So all these people just keep conversing. I really don't know how many hours went. It was hours for sure though, like 2 at least.
That you were just like in this state of like silence, anxiousness.
And I was just like, in my head, and I just, like, you're literally just in your head the whole time thinking, like, what am I gonna do? Like,
yeah.
And there's literally nothing that can save you.
It's also, like, piece of advice. If you're ever in a situation where you're too high, don't be afraid to be like, I'm gonna go. Yeah. No, like, don't give a fuck what anybody think, like, what your brain is telling you everyone's gonna say or think. Because at that moment, you should probably just go.
And at the end of the day, like, people will be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, like, she was just too high. That's it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I think I was just too scared that I could not walk.
Yeah.
So, like, there was also that.
You're right.
So I was like, if I even say, like, guys, I gotta go, they'd be like, oh, okay, go. And I'd be like, when I'm ready.
I'll go when I'm ready.
And, like, you don't want to be, like, carried.
Be like,
it's, like, too much.
Can you help me get up?
Pick me up. Drag me. Do something.
You're like, everybody, I'm gonna go. Don't mind that I start crawling.
Don't mind me if I roll there. Yeah, but I feel like that's pretty much, like, the basis of all of my bad stories. Like, sometimes I'll get up, like, I am able to, like, get up and get out. But even when I, like, make it to a bed, like, I feel like dying.
Yeah, it's the spinnies for me, the spins.
Spinning, and then I'm like, I want to throw up. I've managed to, like, fall asleep in a lot of cases, but, like...
Yeah, that's the best case scenario, is that you fall asleep when you're too high. My brain just goes off. Yeah, so that's, like, also another thing, like, knowing what calms you down.
Mm-hmm. And what makes it worse.
Yep.
But, like, for me, yeah, I think genuinely I'm just not gonna really do all... Not that I'm never gonna do, like, take an edible or smoke ever again. What?
Okay.
What?
You will. But go off, queen.
I mean, yeah, like, but...
But yeah.
But, like, I know more so my limits, and, like, I just consciously be like, it's okay if you just don't get high at the end of the day, because I'd rather not be high than be too high.
That is important.
Because I think sometimes you get in your head, like, well, I already had one. Like, how am I not going to feel high at the end of this? But then you're like, just chill out.
Also, keep in mind that if you ate or something, it might just take slightly longer. Again, just wait it out. Wait it out an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Tops.
And don't double the dosage.
Don't double. Speaking of double the dosage, not weed, but LSD. Miss Acid. I had done it microdosed before this situation where I did half a tab, which if like you're in the lingo of things, half a tab, half the dosage. I was chilling. I saw pretty things. Like, it was fun.
You were like somewhere safe, home.
Yeah. I was camping.
Oh, I mean.
In the beach. With some nice people at the time.
Oh, right.
At the time. It was fun. But I was like, you know what? This time, I really just want to go full blown in. You know, like, let's try it.
Wait, this time, like,
this new
already...
time.
Oh.
It was after.
Oh, different.
A new situation. I was with friends this time. I told my friend that I was like, it feels like it's nothing, but like when you look at things for a while, it'll feel like you'll feel it, you'll see it. Weird. And she was like, okay, so we're like, maybe we should just start with half a tab anyways. Like, because maybe this certain tab one that is stronger than the one I've ever taken. And I was like, whatever, let's half dosage it.
You're like, fuck this, but fine.
Yeah. So we take half, me and my friend, my best friend, and we're just chilling. We're just like, you know, it finally kind of kicks in. We all go down to the beach. We're in Santa Barbara at UCSB. Sorry, UCSB. We're just sitting by the beach, and I kind of feel it. Like, it's cute. It's a cute little moment. I'm like, but you know what? I'm not going to have, like, any, like, revelations. I'm not going to have anything crazy. It's going to be the same experience.
How long had it been? Like an hour?
It had been, like, 40 minutes.
Okay.
Wait it out, kings and queens.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Yeah, like, we both like looked at each other. We're like, should we just take the other half?
That look, it's
and
dangerous.
then she was like, yeah. And so we took it. Whatever. When I tell you, when you read dosage again, it's almost like it's not the 1 tab. Now it's like the 1.5. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're already kind of high, and then you're like making yourself extra high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if that's like scientifically how it works, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
So we were fine, and then all of a sudden it was that woof moment where all of a sudden I could not speak and I could only observe. I was literally, the way I explain it, I'll forever say this, is I was a brain in a jar that was just walking around looking at shit with eyeballs. And I remember at the time
That's the only bad feeling you had, though, that you just couldn't talk?
I couldn't talk. Everything was like extremely overwhelming.
Did you feel like nauseous?
Nausea was there, but it was like not the present.
It wasn't like that's what I
It wasn't like the forward feeling. It was just more like, I don't feel like human right now. Like I don't feel like I'm in my body right now, type of thing.
And your friend equally
felt that way.
Hmm.
And I remember our friend who was the experienced one who gave us the LSD was like trying to do something called candy flipping. I don't recommend it. I've never done it.
What the hell is that?
It's like when you take acid and then you take like a pill, like ecstasy or Molly. And then the trip is supposed to turn into like a very upper feeling. Like it's almost like it's very party druggy.
These
you know
college kids, man.
I never even knew about that until he tried it.
These college
And he was like, yeah, I don't feel it. Whatever. And
wait,
like,
he did it.
He did it.
Or no, he didn't feel the LSD at all?
He didn't. No, he felt the
didn't feel the
LSD. He didn't feel the flip.
Oh.
So he's like, I don't feel it, but like, I'm just going to chill with it. So then he's like, I hear that like smoking weed can either like heighten it or like lessen the feeling. He's like, so I
That is not 50-50 chance.
He's
dangerous.
He was excited for it though. He was like, so I'm just gonna see what happens, and if anything, I'll just take another tab.
If it lessens.
And
what if it does more? Like way more.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. And so he like smoking in his car, and he like invites us over, and he's like, do you guys want some? Me and my friend are like, no, I'm feeling enough. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like literally, we're like, no, thanks. Like I'm just gonna sit here.
Mm-mm.
So we're sitting in the back of his car, and I remember both of us just like feeling super anxious. Like sitting down was so anxiety ridden that we were just like, okay, like thank you, so and so. Like we're gonna go walk around. I think we need to take a walk. So we start walking. We bring our friend, our other best friend, and he, not the one that was candy flipping, but the other one. What? We're all in the same head, like literally the same, not just brain. All in a jar. We're all in a jar. 3 brains in a jar with a couple eyeballs.
Gotcha.
We're walking around the campus. So many weird things happened to us where like some person came up and offered us free like Domino's dessert pizza that was like Oreo pizza, and we're like, okay, like thanks, probably saying like no words, like thank you, like this is great, thank you.
They're probably looking at you like you need to eat something.
I don't know what was going on, but I was like, I hope we don't look high. Like that was the whole like
that's the last thing you should be thinking about because you do.
Yeah. But I was like, honestly, I don't care if they think that, like I'm just gonna keep walking.
Can you get like arrested for that? I guess.
I think so. I think that was our thought. So every time we saw like a group of people or like a campus police or like security, like, we would normal. Like just look normal, keep walking. So the whole
as you guys silently walk in a straight line. Probably.
Literally, we're just walking. But another like thing to add to this is like we literally walked around for probably 10 hours, nonstop. We stopped a couple times, but it was just like we had that feeling again of like we need to keep walking because it like walking felt good. Walking felt good. Yeah.
10 hours. It took that long.
It's a 12-hour trip.
So for 2 hours, you're like, maybe this is okay. And then
we were trying. Let me explain. So like, we were walking, and I remember like throughout the entire like walking process, we would just like in our heads, and then all of a sudden to make sure that like we were all like in the same wavelength or like still there, like and okay. One of us would have to say like, haha, yeah, I'm fucking tripping. Or like, yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like we would say something
like, let's
random.
Keep walking by.
Yeah, and be like, I'm fucking tripping. Like it was just like our conversation was not a conversation, but that was our check-in with each other. We were all in the same brain. It was so weird. And we would just laugh at random things, and it was just intense. And I remember like feeling people's energy super intensely. Like we were obviously visiting friends from high school there, and a couple of our friends from high school who weren't tripping were trying to like create like such a crazy good experience for us. We're like, draw and like have a good time, listen to this music.
Where? Like in their dorm?
In their apartment. And I was like, this is not fun.
Like, I want to walk.
I was like, I need to go. I literally texted them. I was like, I need to go. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. I gotta go. And so we're outside, and like they also had a cat. So like my anxiety was high because I was like, I'm gonna get allergies, and I don't know how that's gonna affect me while I'm
like
high.
Even more, yeah.
So I don't know. There was just like a lot going on. But we went from feeling nothing and just being observers to like at the end of the night, me and my best friend, who were like the ones who redosaged, we ended up just having a breakthrough. Like we had so many emotional conversations, just like cried a lot. And
do you think you would have got there if you didn't like overdo it, like faster? Like if you had just I don't know.
See, that's what I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time that like I have really great experiences, you almost have to go through like the hump of like having such a heightened bad one. And then like the come down is so fun and like I don't know, but
so, like, yeah,
maybe I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, it depends. But that time was just like really awesome. I felt really close to her, and we were just like, we really were like speaking like crazy, like thought provoking conversations about our life at the time. But then like the end of the night came, we were trying to go to sleep, and like it's notorious for keeping you up at the end of the night. And we took like melatonin and it didn't work. And I was like, you know, I'm feeling anxious again. Like, let's go for a walk. Yeah. But I kid you not, like I saw some of the most beautiful stars that night. Like I feel like I could see the world. And it's fucking crazy.
Terrifies me now to be dark, but I listen to too much true crime and like imagine someone kidnapped you guys.
Oh my god, while I'm high? Absolutely not.
Literal nightmare.
Literal nightmare.
Wow.
But also I feel like I'd become like a superhuman.
You're like, I can do anything because I don't feel good.
I don't feel good. I just want to get out of here. Yeah. Beautiful, okay. But scary. Just like bad trips. It will forever become a story for you and some type of lesson.
That's what I try to think when I'm feeling miserable.
Like, this is going to be funny later.
I'm like, I'm going to tell Mel about this. It's going to be funny.
It's going to be funny
later.
Yeah. I feel it.
Maybe it could lead you to a funny story. Maybe it could lead you to a breakthrough. I don't know. Just do what's right for you at the end of the day.
Experiment not. Just do it safely in general.
We don't condone the use of drugs. If
you're going to do it with lots of knowledge and in a safe place.
DM us people. If you're curious about things or...
We're not know-it-alls and everything, but like...
not on the slightest.
We can just be like, hey, yeah, maybe don't do that. Or, hey, yeah...
maybe you should talk to my friend who has done that. Or whatever.
Anyway, hope this was some form of entertainment. Informative. Drugs are funny.
But take them serious.
Take them serious.
Because they don't make you feel very great sometimes.
When they say pick your poison, they're right. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. And we'll end it
there. Have a great week. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple or any other platform, also follow us or subscribe or just make sure you're somehow tuning in every week.
Yes. Follow us on Instagram.
And follow us on Instagram.
That's a big one.
Big one. But we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, wait. We forgot to say that you should go on a high walk with your cousins. Well, Thanksgiving is next week, so if you go on a high walk or a quick walk with your cousins to get high,
comment that shit out.
Yeah.
Y'all know what we're talking about. Bye!
Bye!